morning, Maddie. Hello, watcher. would say in the roller coaster for me yesterday was somewhere in the middle. I didn't feel particularly good or bad yesterday. I felt decent, and then I went outside and I felt kind of bad. Because sometimes when I'm just sitting in my apartment, it's easy for me to just pretend it's a regular day, and then I have to go outside for something, and then I see what the world's like, and it can be kind of upsetting. Sorry, I haven't been really active in the chat. Yep, you asked what I'm drinking. I'm drinking a fruit smoothie. Same thing I have every morning. You probably don't come to the streams very often, Yebby. Or unless you're just asking about the specific ingredients of it. It's just a smoothie. Hello, by the way, and good morning. Anybody else see that bug? I'm glad that you like the quarantines, Isidora. I didn't get as much work done on the quarantines number 6 yesterday as I wanted to. So there's a bee that's like trying to get in my room. And there's a fly. There's several flies that are already in my room. Ugh. Sorry about the downer music, everybody. I'm glad that you liked it, kid. And Maddie. Oh, they're so annoying. Sorry, the flies. The flies are annoying. I'm just gonna have to stay not distracted for a while. If you're on the stream and you enjoy the stream, please remember to like the stream. It helps me a lot. Thank you in advance if you manage to do so. Hello, Enigma. Good morning and welcome to stream. Morning Medley number 125. Kid says sometimes emoting through sad music is a good way to cope. Word. This is true. There's a band named Garbage that I used to be really into just because I was sad. And then once I wasn't as sad anymore, it was hard for me to listen to their music. Well, their music put me in a weird place. Anyways, if you like the band Garbage, good stuff. If you don't like the band Garbage, that's fair. This next song is called Love Letters. Was there a stream yesterday on YouTube? Didn't put it on my homepage. Oh, weird. There was a stream yesterday. Stream number 124. I am sorry you missed it. But I'm glad you made this one. Omni, are you trying new recipes during quarantine? Well, I have been steadily tweaking my waffle recipe every single morning. They're near perfect by my standards. Now, I've also started marinating chicken again. I know that was like my big thing for a while last year. I started doing that again and tweaking my marinade. I make a homemade marinade, and that's what I usually will marinate like chicken breasts or thighs in, depending on what I'm going to do it for. Now I have a I got rid of one fly. There's just one left. Okay, anyways, depending on what I'm gonna make, right? Like you wouldn't use the same marinade to marinate chicken for quesadillas that you would to marinate chicken for, like a chicken sandwich, like a chicken pretzel bread chicken sandwich. So I've been focusing on lately trying to make a good marinade for my chicken sandwich that I want to make. And frying the chicken, like breading it. I like not to make it like super crispy, but I do want to kind of get that like good breading down. And chicken is a thing I very rarely fry. I usually will like pan fry it, I guess, but I mean like deep fry. I don't really deep fry chicken, so I've been tweaking that, I suppose. Isadora, thank you. I appreciate that question. What about you? You been making anything interesting during quarantine? Enigma says YouTube sucks sometimes. I agree with this. Yesterday was Waffle Wednesday, Enigma. Says Maddie. It was Enigma. Says me. Did I finish Love Letters? there was a couple of workers at the train station where I was coming in so often for a second there. I was coming in like 4 times a week to play the piano, and they had memorized love letters. Or like if I started when I started playing that part, at least the dude there is a like an older man and a woman, and the older man would always come like dun, dun, dun. He didn't remember that part. Um, yeah, I miss playing on that piano. Isidore is trying a lot of new recipes. Honestly, the only new thing I've made during quarantine is cooking for the first time in a while. Cookies, says Jamie. Yeah, I haven't made cookies in years. Oh my god. Although I don't really like cookies, so it would be a waste for me to make them. Unless I was making them for somebody else. Sorry. I've never seen parrots and crows interact before today. I mean, they're always both here in the cul-de-sac, but I feel like they kind of stick to their own little corners, and I saw them interact, and that was very weird. It was very weird. Crap. Yeah, that song's called Love Letters. I had an old roommate who'd always make banana bread, says Jamie. I made banana waffles last week. That's a type of banana bread. Lombe Bleeder is back and saying a very contemplative version of Love Letters. I like it. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I had forgotten that was what I played. Yes, everybody, that song was called Love Letters. And this one is called Double Lutz. I'm allergic to bananas or something, says Jamie. Hold on. Chris says, "Hey, do you remember when I asked you if you could make music to my anime? Well, I actually started an animation process, and I was wondering if I could use your music. Not right now. You're talking about like, are you talking about using it like as like test audio, or? I mean, you can't use my release music. That stuff is licensed already. But hello, Curse Mark. I didn't even see you in the stream. Isadora wishes they had squirrels where they are. You know what's weird? When the quarantine first started, I was seeing squirrels everywhere. It was like they had multiplied or something, or they had at least become more brave. But now I don't see them at all anymore. It's like they've gone back to whatever they were doing. Like the novelty of quarantine has worn off for them. I believe you, Curse Mark. I can't imagine how tedious animation Wow, 10 years. You're not missing anything, Leanna. It hasn't changed in 10 years. Sometimes I forget to breathe while I'm playing. Somebody asked me, why do you take such big breaths in between sections of songs? And because I forget to breathe sometimes while I'm playing a particular section. I feel like I play that song a lot more often now that Maddie's given it a name. Thank you, Maddie. Yeah, I second the painting. Definitely paint it. Chris Mark says, I recently stumbled upon a jazz remake of Studio Ghibli's music on YouTube. It's literally the best thing, says Curse Mark. I'm glad you're enjoying that, Curse Mark. Maddie says, the closest thing to wild animals is my neighborhood, or when I see an osprey or an eagle, and then I do get really excited. That is exciting. Wow. For me, it's squirrels, raccoons, you know, your regulars, and then the occasional possum, and then, I mean, crows, parrots. I mean, birds, I don't really count them. Every place has wild birds, right? Birds have endless domain. As far as other things, towards the quarantine, I was saying coyotes, but that's not out of the ordinary. Like, if you're driving around pretty late at night in the part of LA that I live in, you will occasionally see a coyote. Not every night, but like if you drive around at night regularly, I'd say that you see a coyote a month. The closest thing to wild animals. Oh yeah, I read that one already. Yeah, I guess that's it. Jimmy Flores says they have the same problem. When I'm painting, I'll focus so hard I forget to breathe. Isn't that weird? Super weird. Alright, well, I've played French Vanilla. I've played Love Letters. I played... Ooh! That was so wrong, but I loved that. Guys, hold on. See, I hate it when I've recorded something, and now I can't re-record. Well, I could re-record or release it, but you keep adding something. Oh, screw that. No, I'm not playing that song anymore. Screw that song. This song's called Reflection Pool. I'm so sorry, Cyber. There's a few songs. Um, there's a few songs that, even though I know the song isn't the name it's called, I'll still make a mistake pretty often. For example, this one makes a little bit less sense than the French Vanilla to French Lavender mistake. But I constantly call this song Beneath the City. And that song's called Into Thin Air. Beneath the City is. Oh, hey, my bike is a Yamaha, says Enigma. Indeed, indeed. Yamaha makes a lot of things, from musical instruments to sports and automotive. Oh, get out, get out, get out. He's gone. And just like that, baby, the room is fly free. Fly free since 5 seconds ago. I think that a lot of the Yamaha sports stuff tends to be red, or was it blue? Hmm. Red. I'm gonna say red. For example, if you go to Yamaha headquarters in Ginza, in Tokyo, they will have the Yamaha merch that's like something like this. This is obviously a music shirt, but then if you buy like a Yamaha sports gear, it'll usually have red somewhere on the logo. But it still has the tuning forks. Funny enough, um, you know what I mean by tuning forks. But that's really cool that your bike is a Yamaha. Go Yamaha. I'm a Yamaha boy. I don't know for how much longer. I mean, during quarantine, I haven't heard anything from them, but I hope they're all okay at HQ. Speaking of boars, I miss living in Arizona because Arizona had, I mean, a type of wild boar called a javelina that are only in Arizona. Like, you can't really see javelinas anywhere else, and they're very very vicious and aggressive, but they're beautiful. And I do like pigs. I'm a pig fan, so out of all the pigs, I would say that was the one that I saw the most as a kid, is javelinas. So seeing a pig without a bunch of hair and that's very slow was very confusing to me. Felt broken, you know. Kind of like seeing a jackrabbit. Like, I saw jackrabbits for all of my life in Arizona, and then when I finally saw a real rabbit in person, I was like, why is it so fat? Like, this is disgusting. This thing's obese. Why are they feeding it? And everybody was like, nah, normal rabbits are just really chubby. You live in Arizona, so your rabbits, you have jackrabbits, which are like, you guys have seen a jackrabbit. Anyways, Yamaha's Noise brand says Enigma. Indeed, they have made a good. I mean, this keyboard's Yamaha, so they made a lot of things that I tend to use. Good morning, Lindsay. Welcome to the stream. Glad you were able to make it. I'm gonna go ahead and play Into Thin Air since I started it. There's a part with rabbits, so it sort of took over for a while. Just a ton of them there, and I get really excited as a kid when I saw one. That's kind of cool, Maddie. Yeah, rabbits are cool. Cyber's asking if I played Epic Mickey. I did. I don't own it because I don't own Nintendo consoles, but I did play it. I did play that game. Cool game. Cool game. Yes, Oswald is in that game. was the villain of the first game, and then in the second game, he's kind of transitioned over into an ally. Liana says they have a cousin they met in Florida. She posted about a gator that got stuck in her storm drain. Interesting. You don't own Nintendo consoles? I do not own Nintendo consoles. That's what I said earlier. Yeah, I don't own any Nintendo consoles. Bagel Forces. That's in Florida. That's a fun name. That song's called Into Thin Air. Oh, that's not where I wanted to go. But that's okay. There we go. Not there. Okay. Before we move on from rabbits, when I lived in Boston, says Lindsay, I was shocked at how many city rabbits there are. Word. You might have, Lindsay. Well, goodbye, Enigma. Thanks for being on the stream. I appreciate you. There it is. There it is. When you don't want to hear it. There was a few patches of grass bushes, but there was a lot more than I've ever seen in Alabama. I don't know what the Alabama rabbit population is like. like writing in the street. It's bad. It's bad to write in the street, but it was like the way it was sounding in the very beginning. I wish I lived in San Luis Obispo, says Leanna. There are lots of horses, mountain lions, and bears just around. Yeah. Slow, as the cool kids call it. What a place to live. What a cool, great place to live. Ugh. Yeah, watch out for them wild horses. They don't mess around. Mm. You have to consume smoothies before they get even a little bit warm. Oh my god, it's like drinking poison. Okay, Lindsay says somehow it seems more frightening than a mountain lion. Yeah, screw horses. I mean, within reason, right? Maddie says I loved learning about wild horses when I went through my horse phase. Ah, yeah, the horse phase. Some people never leave their horse phase. What's for breakfast today? Asked Jamie. Oh, such a beautiful question. I don't want to make this stream about food again, but Mary's not here. Mary's the food expert. But what's for breakfast today for me? Um, I have some chicken still marinating, so I need to eat it just before it goes bad. So I'm probably gonna like make a quesadilla, which like isn't really breakfast food, but I've already had some fruit. Um, well, hold on. If I Yeah, I'm gonna do the quesadilla, and then I'll just have like the breakfast sandwich that I usually have. I'll just have it later in the day because really, food is food. It doesn't really matter when you eat specific types of food. I can eat eggs at 5 p.m. I actually saw a neighbor here walking with their kid riding a horse down the street. Word, word, word. That sounds like Arizona. That kind of stuff would happen in Arizona. Not just anywhere in Arizona. There's a specific place called Gilbert, Arizona, where everybody did just have ranch homes and horses. And so a lot of the girls that I went to high school with had like two or three horses. And they were all horse girls, which is a type of girl. I know, Maddie, you have had a horse phase, but let's say you didn't leave that phase. There is a type of person who is just a horse girl, and I don't particularly enjoy that person's company. Hmm. Food is good. Food is good, Junior Flores. Food is good. Um, uh, Goodness. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm not really a big fan of those. But yeah, there was also just like a lot of horse poop on the ground, and like they had trails. Like in Gilbert, Arizona, there's like the street, and then next to the street there's the sidewalk, and then next to the sidewalk there's like this dirt path that's usually about 20 feet wide. That's just for horses. It's like there's street, bike lane, sidewalk, and then a horse path, and so it's really like the streets are really wide. Um, yeah, but that's in certain parts of Gilbert. I actually don't know what Gilbert looks like now. I haven't been there in a pretty long time. At least not like the thick of it. Okay, Isadora says, I have a question for all of you living in North America. That's me. That's a place I live. Do you eat lentil soup or pea soup? Or is that not on the USA diet? Okay, Isadora, I'm going to say no. Can you get it? Do people here eat it? Yes. Remember, the USA, it's a melting pot, so you can kind of get and eat whatever you want. You can get ramen a bunch of places, but I wouldn't necessarily consider ramen as part of the like USA diet, nor would I consider lentil soup or pea soup. Again, you can get it, a lot of people do, and they appreciate it, but I do not at all consider it a staple in USA. For example, if you were going to an American diner someplace, there's a pretty good chance they're not going to have lentil or pea soup. Um, I feel like if we're going USA, most common soups, probably a chicken noodle. A spinach cheese, is that a thing? A cheese spinach soup? I don't know. But no, I'm not going to go lentil and pea. Um, I would say that's one of the rarer soups for sure. Soothsayer says, I eat pea soup, not lentil though. Word up, Sooth. Word up, Sooth. Cyber says, yeah, it's not something that's everywhere. I agree. Jamie Flores says, my girlfriend would make it sometimes, but I agree with Ami saying, word up. Your girlfriend sounds dope. Unbei says, don't really know how many soups are in the U.S. diet at all, honestly, which I love that comment. Chicken noodle is our thing. Unbei. I mean, Campbell chicken noodle soup was like that was like a McDonald's cheeseburger for a really long time. Like that was really they were driving home the point. Like if you got sick, go get some Campbell chicken noodle soup. Like this is what'll heal you. It was almost peddled as more of a remedy or a medicine than I would say as an actual food. But that is the closest we come to having like a national soup, I would say, or a tomato soup. Yeah. As Cyber says, like a tomato soup. I feel like the most popular is chicken noodle, tomato, and potato. Yes, Lindsay nailed them. Those are the top three. Near Slow and Bulton? Buellton? California. There's a famous Anderson pea soup. Anderson's pea soup. Oh, I actually know what you're talking about. Liana. Oh, wow. Was I that close to Slow when I saw that place? How far from Slow is that? Because I've never been to Slow, but if I knew I was that close, I probably would have just went over. I probably would have just gone. Sorry. Chicken noodle, very interesting response. Thank you. You're welcome, Isadora. I'm always glad to help. Not enough soups in our diet. Debatable. My favorite soup is SpaghettiOs, says Cyber. Word. I'm a big ramen fan, but if I'm going like American soups, I would say chicken noodle doesn't do me dirty, so I'm a fan of the chicken noodle. I just don't like the chicken that comes in it. I kind of just wish it was like noodle and broth. Noodle soup? Is that a thing? Noodle soup? I want to have somebody that like is from Japan and has like ramen or like udon. I want to give them Campbell's freaking chicken noodle soup and just see what happens because it's ridiculous by comparison. Tomato soup is my favorite, says Jamie Flores. Word up. I'm going to Slow in July, says the Discord person. That's pretty cool. I hope you enjoy it. It's like an hour south in between Slow and Santa Barbara. Oh, okay. Word. Cyber says, what's the translation of legume in English? Legumes? I would assume it's just legumes, Isidore. But, I mean, legumes are a term we use to refer... It's like a family of things, right? Like a peanut is a legume. Sugar snap peas are legumes. I'm pretty sure no, maybe garbanzo beans aren't legumes, but like legumes are like a type of thing. I don't know if it refers to a very specific. Oh, okay, so yeah. Word. Bagel Force One says straight up bone broth is what I always get. Bone broth is sick. You're welcome, Isidora. That used to be my icebreaker at parties. It's like, yo, peanuts aren't even a nut. They're legumes. Isn't that wild? Anyways, my name is Omni, and I make music. What kind of music, Omni? I don't know. What kind of music do you make? If you had to describe your music to somebody who's never heard it, what would you say it sounds like? I don't know. Vegetable broth gang, says the Discord person. There's a place about a block away from my apartment that has bone broth. They even have a big sign up in the window that says fresh bone broth, which I don't know how fresh bone broth works, but it is good. It is very good. It's not my preferred broth base, but I mean, I think that's more of a hot pot place anyway, so I'm done talking about that place. Legume is an umbrella term, apparently. For sure. Yeah, it's an umbrella term. There's a lot of different legumes. And peanuts are one of them. We just call them nuts, I think, because they're crunchy. Well, what happens if you cook a peanut? Will it get soft like a bean? Like other legumes do? You can, like, eat a bowl of, like, soft peanuts? Okay, the amount of times I go, what kind of music do you make? Question. Yeah, Unbei, we as artists get that a lot. Describe your sound in 10 words or less. Like, I don't know, jazzy, and then all jazz musicians on the face of the planet get really upset at me. They're like, that's not what this is. This isn't jazz. People boil peanuts here in Florida. Do they get squishy? Bagel Force? Do they get squishy? Oh, I don't get kung pao chicken. I don't like it when people put peanuts in like food. I know that's really wild, but like pad thai, I can't eat pad thai because of that. I don't like peanuts in my food. However, if I go to Mama Lou's, they give you peanuts as an appetizer, and I can eat peanuts and then eat the food, but I can't eat peanuts in like chow mein and stuff like that. I don't know. It messes me up, but uh, I won't slide anybody for eating that because it sounds and even smells really good. I just don't really like it. How soft are those peanuts in the pad thai, everybody? How soft are we talking? Are we talking like pinto bean soft? Are we talking corn on corn? Corn on corn soft? I really want to stop talking about the peanuts now. But Cyber says, it's like a favorite snack down here. We actually have more peanuts in Georgia than we have peaches. And we're the peach state. Word up. That's a lot of peanuts. But I mean, peanuts are smaller, so I guess you could fit more of them in a confined space. I'm addicted to peanuts and wasabi, says Isidore. Word. That's very interesting. Leona says, I used to hate watercress, and peanuts in food, but I've grown to like both for texture. Ah, yes. Yes. Kind of like me with tomatoes. I used to hate tomatoes, but now I like them. When I can make a sandwich and it doesn't have tomatoes in it, it feels like something's missing. Something's missing. Does anybody know that MGMT song? Oh, I love the sound of a good bassoon. I mean, obviously this isn't a good bassoon, but I do love the sound of a bassoon. Oh, it's so cinematic. It's really good for like emoting and scoring. The bassoon and the what's the other one that I like? The oboe. Is there an oboe in here? It would appear there is not. Oh, that's not it. Bassoon and oboe are like, whenever I have to score something, they're usually the first instruments that I pick up, especially if it's like somebody's walking or something like that. Hear that? That's an oboe. So cool. Bassoon. This chord person was getting small town vibes. That instrument makes me think of Super Mario RPG for some reason. The reason it makes me think of Super Mario RPG, Jimmy Flores, is because bassoon and oboe are often used in scoring. Now, want to know why? One of the schools of thought of why oboes and bassoons and flutes and clarinets and all these things are used so often in scoring. And when I talk about scoring, I don't necessarily mean like, oh, people are falling in love and there's really pretty like piano chords playing. I'm talking about the like incidental stuff. You know, when somebody's walking. Something that I like to do a lot is my song, the Witchy Song, is very versatile in that it can be played like a scoring piece, or it can be played like a real song. Like if I played the Witchy Song, it sounds like a song. It sounds like a real song. If I had like oboe, you can accentuate a lot of the like punctuations of the song. One of the main reasons for this is because a woodwind instrument. Did you go to music school? I did not go to music school. Discord. All the stuff that I'm saying, I'm just pulling right out of my old keister. But if you listen to a woodwind instrument, I don't know how often most of you have listened to music intently or actively. This isn't like some hoity-toity pretentious thing. It's like you can listen to music actively and you can listen to music passively. Everybody, regardless of your education or experience with music, can do these things. Now, listening to music actively, um, you'll hear specific instruments, you'll understand what the instruments are doing, you'll go like, oh, I think I've heard that happen before. If you think about horror movies, there are certain notes that you just heard a bunch, whether you really understand what those notes are. If I go up to a piano and I hit this chord, you won't necessarily think of like a horror movie. This maybe sounds slightly dramatic, but if I hit this, it sounds more like a horror movie. And it's just because you've heard it a bunch of times. There's nothing particularly scary about that sound. You're just used to having heard it in like classic horror films. And so things get kind of used over time to become a pattern. If you listen to people singing, the closest thing that we have that emulates a human voice is woodwind instruments. And that's because you're actually using saxophone is replicating what happens in an actual your actual anatomy. I'm not gonna get too deep into this because it doesn't really matter. But like a lot of woodwind instruments, the reason they're called woodwind is because there's a little wooden reed that goes in. You're blowing the reed, and the reed is vibrating, which is exactly how our vocal cords work when we are talking, and when we are singing, when we are humming. It's just the vibration of things. The same thing happens for strings on the outside of stuff, right? Like the guitar, you're going to vibrate the strings. The piano, you're going to vibrate the strings. The drum, you're vibrating like I don't know the machinations of the drum so much that I know what this is called. The part that you hit, the pad. Ooh, that's definitely not it. But you're vibrating things, vibrating sound. But the way that the reed works is you're blowing through the reed, and it's going through this very complicated series of pipes that you're like closing and opening, much like the human, vocal chamber. So that all being said, things like flutes, woodwinds, bassoon woodwinds, oboe woodwinds, saxophone woodwinds, these things are closer to the human voice and can emulate speech without necessarily being articulated in English. Think about the way English works, think about how you can ask a question, where are we going today? Um, or you can say a word. Let me think of a better one. Do you want to get dinner? Do you want to get dinner? There's like a vocal up, an upswing. I'm sure there's a great word for this, but I'm not like I'm not an expert on languages and language acquisition, even though we seem to talk about it a lot in the stream. But like your voice goes up, at least in English, your voice goes up to indicate or imply and question. So much so that you can leave off a lot of the grammatical clues to inflection. Thank you, babe leader. So much so that you can actually leave off a lot of the things that would grammatically imply the question. For example, instead of saying, do you want to have dinner tonight? You can just say dinner tonight or dinner. And people can kind of take the context clue of your voice going up in that inflection to know that there is a question happening. Now, a lot of instruments, like a piano, for example, cannot do that. A piano cannot emulate what a voice can. When we talk, a lot of times we're not just hitting notes. Da 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 dee da dee da dee da dee da 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 da. Nobody talks like that. There's a lot of like bending, very very subtle bending of notes. There's like lateral stops. There's a lot happening, a lot of complex things happening with our voice. And at a certain time, the only instruments that could do these things or do these things reasonably and believably the way that our voice could, were woodwinds. And woodwinds, especially when it comes to like saxophone, I'm sure you guys have listened to saxophone players bend notes, bend notes slightly into something else, do a lot of like very interesting vocal patterns, so much so that if you've listened to, for example, somebody like Kenny G. I'm not going to spend much more time on Kenny G, so blink it and you'll miss. But Kenny G, when he does covers of a lot of people's songs, instead of singing himself, he sings the notes through his instrument, through his woodwind instrument. And because he's playing a woodwind instrument, you can almost hear the words to it. If he's doing Isn't She Lovely by Stevie Wonder, even though he's just hitting those, he's going to be able to get a lot closer to the human vocal articulation of those lyrics than I will on a piano. Now, all that was to just drive home the point that woodwinds are a little bit not better for scoring, but the reason they're leaned on so much for scoring is because they grab people's attention, because they almost sound sonically like you're hearing a voice. If somebody were just playing a flute, in the same way that like you can almost trick an animal into thinking that you're an animal if you're good enough. There's so many ways to trick animals. Animals aren't that smart, at least not compared to us, right? For a long time, scarecrows worked. I don't think they work anymore. I've seen a lot of scarecrows with birds actually, like pecking at them. So I don't think it's working anymore. But for a limited amount of time, having a freaking hay man on a stick hoisted above a cornfield made the birds go, there's somebody there, let's chill. Or like having a little fake owl on the roof of your house kept other birds from like nesting up there, because they would see an owl and be like, oh, that's a predator, homie, we gotta dip, even though it was a piece of porcelain. Think about that in terms of humans. Human beings' brains will respond better to hearing things that sound like another human talking. If you're walking through, I don't know, a forest or something like that, and you're hearing birds chirping, and you're hearing all kinds of like crickets doing their thing, you're hearing locusts, bugs and animals, and then you hear a human voice somewhere, it's going to grab your attention more because you're like, oh crap, wait, that's like me. That's one of me thing. That's a thing like me. Maybe I should pay attention to this thing and go might look that direction or try to actually understand. You listen more attentively, like what are they saying? If you hear a bird speaking, you're probably not going like, oh, what was that? I didn't catch that because you don't know what a bird is saying. You can't understand bird speak. Now, that is why I feel open for debate. But that is why I feel like woodwinds are so heavily leaned on in scoring things because they grab people's attention, and the whole point of a score is to draw attention to something that you're saying on screen. You're going to draw more attention from people if something sounds like it's telling you a story. I think that people just respond a little bit more differently, not better or worse, but differently to woodwinds than they do to somebody hitting like a big guitar chord or to me hitting a piano chord. You know it's sound, you recognize that it's sound, but something about woodwinds, the monophonic instrument that articulates itself and very, very closely emulates human speech, it's going to hit a different part of your brain. Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Isadora says, Omni, have you watched Miles Davis's documentary on Netflix? I have not. I usually don't really watch that many documentaries. Documentaries and me, for whatever reason, just, I mean, they don't really mix. Whew. Oh boy. Okay. I feel like I've talked all my breath away. Is it time to go over news? Ooh, I love that. Oh, I can't do it again now. I'm gonna go over news very, very slowly. So, also, if you were in the stream and you enjoyed it, please make sure to like the video. It helps me a lot. Thank you. As far as shows, guys, there are none to announce because there are none happening. As far as tour dates, there are none to announce because they are not happening. As far as merch, there's nothing to announce because I'm waiting until whatever we're going through right now to, I don't know, get further along, I suppose. As far as song releases, I did release a new song called The View. Check that out, please. I think I featured it in an Instagram story recently, but check that out if you get a chance. I also have two new EPs. One's called Ego Death, the other one's called Quick Breath. I promoted every stream, and I think every stream, let's say every 10 streams of me promoting them, I get one more person to listen to it, and that's worth it. So please listen to Ego Death and Quick Breath. I worked very hard on them, and if you come into the streams, you might enjoy, the music that I actually make. And you can find them on Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, Amazon MP3, Tidal, Groove, Deezer, Pandora, Napster, and YouTube, which you're on right now. And while we're on the subject of YouTube, I do have a weekly series going on right now called Quarantunes. Quarantunes is me making tunes in quarantine. And the only reason I started it is because I felt like the only reason I started doing quarantines is because I felt like I could still muster together some creative energy, right, to make things, to share things. I just wasn't exactly sure what the context was for that because I didn't want to do a rollout when I couldn't do a rollout. Does anybody in the stream know what a rollout is? Yeah, The View is not on Spotify. Sorry, I should have said that. I feel like it gets conflated because right after I mention The View, I always mention the others. I mention Ego Death, and Quick Breath. Is The View really not on Spotify though? I thought that it went up. I thought that it went up eventually. That's good. That's good to know though, Discord person, if The View truly isn't on Spotify. I feel like it was nice to view on these editing video prowess. Oh. What up? Thank you, Cyber. I don't know. I like everybody asking if it's on Spotify. I don't think so. It's on Bandcamp. Yo, I hate my window. I don't like the things that I'm allowed to see. It's on Bandcamp for sure. Go listen to it on Bandcamp. That is what I am positive about. Everything else is on Spotify and everything else. Ego Beth. Indeed, Liana, Ego Beth. Check that one out as well. I haven't listened to it yet, so I'll check it out today. Thanks, Jamie Flores. I appreciate that. I'm late, but I'm still gonna say good morning. It's cool. It's still morning for me, cause so good morning to you as well. Where was I? Oh yeah, quarantine. So I don't know if anybody in the stream knows what a rollout is. I feel like at least three people in the stream have to know what a rollout is. A rollout's basically a fake. It's like a fake pre-prepared promotional attack plan whenever an artist or an entertainer releases something. If you got a Netflix special, you got to do a rollout. You're going to go on Jimmy Kimmel. If you just wrote a book, you got to go on Conan. You got to be on some famous YouTuber's thing. If you just had a song, you got to go on tour. You got to come out with a new shirt. You got to, put your best foot forward. And I think that a lot of entertainers and artists do a lot of work to make it look natural, make it look like those things are naturally happening. Like, oh, I just happened to have an interview right before my new movie came out, or oh, I just happened to be on, guest starring on Dancing with the Stars before my new album dropped. It's it is a thing, and so right now during quarantine, having a rollout is very difficult because a rollout usually includes being around a lot of people and going different places, right? For example, my rollout for my last two pieces, Ego, Death, and Quick Breath, I went on an Asia and West Coast tour. So I can't do these things now. And so I don't feel comfortable releasing a single or an album without a rollout. I don't feel comfortable working on a huge album, putting it out, and then just tweeting, hey, new album, guys, because I just feel like it wouldn't do justice to all the work that I put into the album. So, yeah, it's extremely hard work for PR people. Thank you, Liana. Yeah, it's a lot of hard work for everybody involved, but I think that I'm not gonna say normies here because that's gonna sound mean and insulting. But I'll say consumers usually just take for granted that things are just happening. They're like, oh, sick, their album's out, and whoa, wow, it's on my phone already. That's cool. Oh, they have a shirt that goes with the album. Wow, I guess that just magically came together. I only know what a rollout is. Oh, that's actually really funny. Somebody else likes that show. So, thanks, Lindsay. I think I'm behind on that show, so I don't want to talk about that show on the stream. I don't want any spoilers. It's hard to have a rollout, guys, during a quarantine. So, my remedy for that is consolidating creative energy but not putting out music is hard. So I was like, I can just put out videos or content on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, whatever, and they will feature songs that will not be released on Spotify and stuff like that. At least not immediately. Maybe after some of this blows over and I can actually leave and go somewhere and maybe perform, then maybe I can put those things out. But for right now, I think I like the exclusivity maybe of a lot of my music just living on YouTube or Instagram or Twitter or whatever. So, yeah, I have this thing called Quarantunes, which is every Tuesday I make a new song and I accompany it by a video. Guys, this is the hardest thing that I have ever done as far as workload. Because back when I first started making a song every 7 days, 3 years ago, it was very doable, right? I was like, these songs are gonna sound great, but I can make a song every 7 days. And at that point, I was pushing myself. I was like, I gotta do something difficult to make myself a better artist. And then in 2018, I was like, if I did a song every 7 days, but then I also put out a video with it, like just like a little like B-roll type video I shot on my phone from the subway or from the train at the beach or whatever, that would be cool. But it was extra work, and I was like, can I do this? And then somehow I managed to do it every 7 days. And now it's like I have to make a song every 7 days, also shoot a video only in my bedroom, and edit it, which video editing is very time consuming. For anybody in the stream that does video editing, shouts out to you because that stuff is a nightmare. And I have to do that every 7 days because I decided that that's a thing I have to do. And it is exhausting. And I'm not even halfway done with next week's quarantine, which is a chill one, by the way, so it should be easier because it's not me dancing around my room and like flying through windows and stuff like that. But still, it's a workload. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. Anyways, Cyber says, get Omni songs on Bandcamp on Friday, y'all. Give him all the money. Yeah. Bandcamp really loves artists because they're actually giving us money. So please buy my music on Bandcamp. Maybe I'll put up some like extra goodies on there to make it an incentive. The last two tunes are amazing, says Kaz. Thank you, Kaz. I really do appreciate that. If you don't know what Kaz is talking about the songs Dreams Come True and Home Is You. No, Dreams Come True and I'm Not Dead. Dreams Come True and I'm Not Dead are both in the same vein of like funky disco sampley things. Both and in the case of both songs, I made a funky song and then I flipped it and like sampled it and chopped it up to make something else. Um, so it ends up having that like weird like future funk vibe. I think that a lot of future funk, well, I know that a lot of future funk is built from taking a city pop track from Japan and speeding it up a little bit, adding some compression to it, and putting a different kick underneath it, side chaining the song a little bit to the kick. Technical jargon, technical jargon. Anyways, the song isn't really original. It's a Japanese track that somebody has essentially sped up and made louder. And I was trying to show subliminally at a level, but I was still trying to show in that video that you can make future funk without stealing somebody else's song. You could just make a song and then speed it up and chop it up and make a future funk track. And that is what Dreams Come True, and to a certain extent, I'm Not Dead are. So since I've already started talking about him, um, yeah, video editing is Lindsay. Lindsay, yeah, video editing is awful. So what I'm saying is, there's 5 of them so far. The first one is called Honeydew. The second one is called French Lavender. The third one is called Home Is You. The fourth one is called Dreams Come True. The fifth one is called I'm Not Dead. So check out those, all 5, if you haven't seen them. Again, I try to keep them under 2 minutes. So it's a quick watch. It's really not some full 3.5 minute to 4 minute song. It's short specifically because I try to make them short enough to fit on Twitter. Twitter is my that's my metric for songs. If I make a song and it's over 2 minutes and 20 seconds, I'm like, I can't fit this whole song on Twitter. I gotta make it shorter. So as far as the quarantines are concerned, they're all around 2 minutes. So hopefully that'll make them easier to watch for you guys. So thank you. It's sad one day quarantines will end, but also I'll be glad to get back to normal. What even is normal, Jamie? What even is going to be normal at that point? Maybe I'll be in here forever. Maybe I'll be on like quarantine's number like 53 and I'll be sick. I'll be sick because I'm like, crap, I really wasn't planning for this to go this long. I even worried about that a little bit, Jamie. Because when I started quarantines, I was like, oh, ha ha ha, there will be like 10 of them and then I'll be back outside. But then I'm like looking at really what's happening in the country and I'm like, I don't know how long I'm going to be in this weird quarantines thing. But I'm glad you're enjoying them, Jamie. I'm glad that you're watching them and giving them some love. I appreciate that. At least you're forcing yourself to get better at them, says Liana. Oh, I'm getting better at video editing. Yay. I'll make a nice EP when this is all done, says Cyber. Oh, it'll make a nice EP. Maybe. I mean, if we're going off of the way that these things sound right now, there is no, they don't sound at all the same. I mean, Dreams Come True and I'm Not Dead are admittedly very similar, but like French Lavender, Honeydew, Home Is You, the songs have a weird range, and I would feel weird about bundling them all together, even though that is a thing that I have talked about doing. It's just the more I make, the more jarring they sound next to each other. Jamie Flores says, also upon downloading Bandcamp, I remembered how I came across your music all that time ago. It was through a collaboration with Jimmy. Oh my god. I'm going to come back to that, Jamie Flores, because I don't think a lot of the people in the stream actually know the song that you're talking about. I don't think a lot of people in the stream even know who Jimmy is. So I am going to come back to that because I do have something I want to say on that, but I'm going to try to get to the bottom of the chat first. Bagel says, weird question, but has anyone heard of Lem Kuja? Probably mispronouncing that. He's made some future funk. I have not heard of this person, but that's cool. It's crazy that next year's already going to be 2021, isn't it? Because 2020 isn't really happening, is it? We're kind of in stasis right now, so it doesn't really feel like a year is happening. Kyle says, I remember you showed us the sample you made for I'm Not Dead, and I immediately liked it. Thanks, Kaz. Yeah, I think I was sitting here recording my laptop when I did that. All the tunes are fun to play. AC too. Oh. All the tunes are fun to play Animal Crossing too. Word up, word up. Can you mute the music in Animal Crossing? Nicholas says, I'm late. Hello, Nicholas. Better late than never, as Drake would say. Drake didn't invent that. Drake said never late. No. Drake said better late than never, but never late is better. And I think maybe that was him that said that. I don't know if he pulled that full quote from someone else. But I mean, it's Drake, so who knows what he made anymore. Young Jimmy, says Leanna. Well, I know you know who. Yeah, young slash Space Girl Jimmy is because you were like in the scene, but I think most people in the stream have no idea who that is. That's good to know that you can mute the music, cause. You can just turn off the volume for the system. Okay. Okay. Um, you brought up the. You found me through a collaboration I had with Jimmy. Now, Jimmy is a rapper, I think retired rapper at this point. I don't know. Me and her have not kept in touch. But she was an internet friend of mine for a few years, and we had a song together. The weirdest thing about this, sometimes I look back at my discography and I'm like, this could never happen now. Do you look back at, like, when you look at Roger Rabbit, and there's that scene where Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse are having a conversation in the sky? They're like floating down and they're talking to each other. And at the time when you're a kid, you're like, yeah, this sounds about right. It's like the Avengers of cartoons. But then you look back on it later as an adult and you're like, oh, this would never happen today. Like, I don't think this can ever happen again. It's even weird that this hasn't been, like, retroactively destroyed. I feel that way about that Space Girl Jimmy track. Because Space Girl Jimmy was like a cutesy, like, kawaii, like, I don't know, like, hood kawaii girl in Australia. That was like a rascal, is the best adjective I could come to describe her. In a non-insulting way, she was just a rascal. You can be a nice rascal, but she was a rascal. And me, who at the time was like still doing like my cutesy anime infused dance music here in LA. Was I in LA? I think I was in LA. That was on Love Dreams, so yeah, I was in LA. And Ehio Robo, who was like in Jersey, and me and Ehi weren't that close yet. We had like just started hanging out like maybe a few months before that. And there's a track with me, Space Girl Jimmy, and Ehi, and it's so weird. Because especially now you listen to like the song that I have with Ehi, 1/million. It's like we've matured as artists and we're like doing this thing, but like listening back at that song, it's like I listened to a sample of that song on Instagram because it's on like if you add music to an Instagram story, it shows up. And I like clicked it really quick and I was like, do I want to add this one? It's so poorly mixed. That song is wild. That I was allowed to release that. Hood Kawaii from Australia is funny. Is really funny, isn't it, Lindsay? Okay, but yeah, Space Girl Jimmy is pretty dope, says the Discord person. Why have I not heard this? That song, Liana? Have you listened to Love Dream? If you haven't listened to Love Dream, you would definitely not have heard it. Love Dream is kind of a cataclysm of a bunch of songs that shouldn't have happened. I have songs with people on that because it was a collaborative EP. I featured a lot of vocal work in it. I don't want to say anything because I can already see this video is going to be saved and I don't want to have anything spicy in the thing. But I'll just say that EP would never happen today. Me and Ehi working, absolutely. Me and the rest of that feature list, it's never happening today. Oh my god, it's never happening. What does EP mean, Discord person? I'm not going to give you the definitive answer to that. I'm going to give you more of an explanatory answer to that. An EP is basically not an album. If you think about EPs and LPs, Discord person, an LP is an album. An LP, it's longer. There's 12 to and take all of this with a grain of salt, Discord person. These are just words. It doesn't really mean anything. But usually when somebody says LP or EP, LP or album, it means longer, like 12 or more songs. When somebody says EP, they usually mean a small collection of songs, maybe 5 to 7. And usually an EP doesn't have theming or like a narrative. It's usually just here's a few songs I wanted to put out. And an album is more like I'm trying to tell a story. There's going to be like a slow song, a fast song. There's going to be a radio hit. There's going to be the experimental one. There's going to be intermission, outro, intro. EP, not so much. Now they do have definitions that have been like confused and conflated over time. We've heard a lot. We've heard EP be like extended play. We've heard LP be long play. We've heard EP and LP be more like specific to the vinyl, like the vinyl size. So that's why I'm not really going to get into that. But all you need to know, Discord person, is that when somebody says EP, they mean a shorter collection of music released. And when they say LP, they mean an album, which is typically longer. For example, EP would be Nice Dream, which I put out, which was like 5-6 songs. And then LP would be like what, I don't know, Kendrick Lamar puts out. It would be like Good Kid, Mad City. That's an album. Okay. Jamie Flores says, "Good to know. It's unfortunate, but things are the way they are for a good reason, I'm sure." Yeah. And I'm glad that Love Dream exists. I'm glad all the Dream series exist. The Dream series is getting longer this year, by the way, but that's enough I'll say on that. Regardless, I'm glad. Oh, it led to me to your music in the end. Oh, that's all sweet. Say, Jamie, thank you, Jamie. I'm glad too. I'm glad too. Also, I wish Jimmy all the best. Jimmy was great. Jimmy came to LA and played a show, and I opened for her. That's how bonkers just the world was back then. Jimmy, Space Girl Jimmy. I mean, I don't want to say it because it's like it depends on how much you know about Space Girl Jimmy. But for those that know a lot about Space Girl Jimmy flew. Space Girl Jimmy at the age of I don't know, like 17 or 18, flew from Tasmania, Australia, wherever the heck, to Los Angeles, and one of my side projects opened for her, and I was so angry the whole night, and I can't remember why. Oh, I remember why. Oh man, it was a bad night. But anyways, I wish her all the best. I don't know where she is. I assume she was retired because I haven't seen any. Oh my god, I would very much like to make that night a repressed memory, but I remember it way too vividly. Um, Wherever she is, I hope that she's very happy because she deserves happy. But I assumed that she had retired because I hadn't seen any new music. But that's wild because she, right now she would be, I don't know, like 21. Can you retire at 21? How did I not know Catch Your Fire was you? I'm burnt. I had that song on my SoundCloud playlist for the longest. What do you mean you didn't know it was me? What the heck? It says Omni Boy on it. I could see you thinking that was like a Space Girl Jimmy song, or even an Ehio Robo song. Because Ehio Robo does most of the vocals. Space Girl Jimmy does a guest verse. Oh my god, I can't believe I made that happen. That's the only... Pause. This is the only time I've made that happen. That's the only time I've had a single where I've had two vocalists on it. And most of us hadn't met. Like, Ehi still to this day has never met Jimmy. I would love to do something like that again, but... Woo! Woo! I hope Jimmy is great. I hope Jimmy is great wherever she is. I wish you the best, Jimmy. Thoughts and prayers. Oh my god. Oh my god. LA is so weird. Don't move here. Never move here. Don't do it. Don't do it. Even if people tell you to do it, don't do it. It'll ruin your life. She tends to go on hiatus for long times, but she stays on IG with the e-girl pics, says Liana. I bet she does. I'm staying as far away from that Instagram as I possibly can, but I'm glad to know she's still active. I feel like everybody has memories that they wish they could erase. For sure, for sure. I have some memories I wish I could remember, if that's a thing. If that makes any sense. Only go to LA for a visit, says Jamie Flores. I'm from Texas. Word, word. I feel you. I feel you. That sounds like a move. That sounds like a move. Wow. Wow. Hey, man. I've had a really wild 5 years, though. I can say that. I can say that I can say 2015 to 2020 has been the most memorable, insane, frustrating, disgusting, exciting, happy times of my life. And career, I suppose. Next time, okay, we've run out of time on this stream, but next time we have a stream, I just want to talk specifically about Korea. I want to talk about everything that happened in Korea, and the fact that I ran into somebody I really do not like. Like, there's like somebody, I don't even know if we're like rivals. He said one thing to me, I don't know, like 2-3 years ago that pissed me off, and I just have not forgotten it. And every time I see him, I know he remembers it too, and I know he still believes it. Oh, screw that dude. I hate that dude. Anyways, I went all the way to Korea on tour, and somehow we were staying in the same hotel, and I was like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. Anyways, there's a lot of cool Korea stories, but I can't get into them because the stream is over now. Oh crap. We covered all the news. I talked about where to hear the music. Discord person says Omni K-pop crossover. I would love to produce for K-pop. Remember that one time I produced for that Japanese idol group, Happy Kudu Kudu? Remember that song? The song was fun, and it paid pretty well. Producing for I don't want to get into the actual dollar amount, but producing for Japanese idol groups or producing for K-pop is extremely lucrative, and I would like to do it again, just because wow, I bought a TV. I bought a whole TV, not a tiny one too. I bought an 82-inch TV. But no story time stream is going to be next time. Cause. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, I love when I accidentally find good stuff. Okay, we talked about the shows, the streams. The streams happen here every weekday morning at 9 a.m. everybody. Thank you for making it on time. And even for you, Nicholas, you still made it on time because I'm here. You're only late if you come here and the stream is over. Let's put it that way. Nobody's ever late unless the stream has ended. It is stream number 125, so we're halfway to the next production stream, which is hopefully, fingers crossed. Oh my god, I never crossed my fingers. Why was that so difficult? Anyways, hopefully, fingers crossed, it happens on OBS, so it'll be clean and the audio will be nice. So I'll probably have a test stream sometime this weekend, so I can make sure that I'm not going to get caught with my pants down, as the old people say. Maybe I've been going about it the wrong way instead of being the idol I should produce for them, says MJ. Hey, nothing wrong with taking a back seat if the back seat is filled with cash. Although I would say learn a little bit of Japanese if you're going to be producing for an idol group. That definitely came in handy. See the music video that I shot for that song also in Hong Kong, check it out on my Instagram channel. It's called, again, Hush Hour. I know it's Hajime Mashite. Wait, why is there... What? Yo, where's Liana? Where's Liana? Rita Nicholas is Liana's in here. Okay, as I know Liana can read Japanese too. Okay, Brown Stain says the weather's beautiful. I hope everyone has a beautiful day. Yeah, when I started the stream, it was all overcast and gloomy, and the sun is burning through the clouds as I had feared it would. So, yeah, it's gonna be a pretty day today. I might go get some boba. Never mind, it's Thursday, so the boba place I go to is closed because that's their new quarantine hours. Dozo Yodishku, baby. Have a great day, everyone, says Nicholas. Everybody's very nice in the stream. I want to thank everybody for being respectful to me and polite to each other. It's the internet, so, people don't be doing that and stuff. I'm going to go work on this new quarantine, and I'm also going to actually do the questionnaire on Instagram like I was supposed to yesterday, but I forgot to do. With no excuse, I just forgot to do it. And I think that my beard, we're going to be sensitive and refer to it as a beard instead of a nightmare on my chin. I think it's done. I think it's finished. I think that this is this is it at its full potential. And so I probably think maybe this weekend, depending on if I see anybody new, sometimes I still see people. If I see somebody, I might cut it off with my face. Rid myself of that. I want bubble tea now, says Lindsay. Boba tea on Thursday. Have to Thirsty Thursday, Maddie. Oh, yeah. Thanks, everybody. I will be here tomorrow at 9 a.m. for morning medley number 126. Hopefully, I'll see you all there. I will. Mm-hmm.